Are there any days when you forget one heart, one life, one earth? That's all that's going on here? Do you ever forget that? Do you ever have those days when you just wake up and all you want to do is go back to bed? You ever have any of those days where you were glad to get up and get moving and be a part of whatever was going to happen and unfold that day, and you were ready, and you got about 2 hours into the day and you got that email that was like, really? Are you kidding me? Or you got that phone call and it spiraled you into some concern or fear or anger. Or you talked to someone who received a diagnosis that was unexpected, and then not only were they falling apart, but you were falling apart too. I mean, have you ever had those days? And I know those of you virtual online, if you've had those days, I know you're putting yes in the chat, or me too, or yeah, I know all about that. Because I think almost all of us have had some experiences like that. And we forget. We forget that it's just one heart. It's just one love. It's just one joy, one peace, one light. Because there's only one of us. Even though we look different, even though we sound different, even though we've lived in different places at different times, and we've had so many different experiences in our individuation of the experience of the one, but it takes all of us together to be the one, because there is only one, and the one needs every one of us to express itself. There is no accident, there is no mistake, there is just one, and each one of us is a part of that same thing. Anybody know what I'm talking about? So today I'm going to be focusing on what happens when we forget. Where do we go? Where can we go when we forget that? Because we are caught up in the human experience and standing in the box or the prison that we have made for ourselves, thinking that whatever the experience is that is happening is actually what is happening. And then we stop and forget. And it's like, what I hope to do today is not just remind you, but to remind me that, I don't have to be in that box. I can be in the freedom of the source that has created me and all of life. That's where I want to live. Now, if you don't want to live there and you're online, just like click off now. If I don't care to live in the freedom of the love that of all creation, then go watch somebody else's service today. If you're in the room and you're not ready to move away from the prison and into the freedom, I won't be offended if you just kind of get up and walk out the back. It's okay. No shame, no blame. But if you stay in the room and if you stay online in Zoom or Facebook or YouTube or some other mystical connection that we don't even have a name for, then buckle up, let's go. Hey, Heart and Soul family, how you doing? I'm so delighted to be with my Heart and Soul family this weekend. Had a great time with practitioners yesterday. Oh my gosh. Now, what I did not tell the practitioners yesterday is that I was playing hooky from my practitioner meeting in Dallas to hang out with them. And I was so excited to be able to say to my family back at CSL Dallas, well, I'm really sorry that I will not be able to attend this meeting. And really, I am. The January meeting, we meet quarterly, and the January meeting always has really important things to do to set the stage for the year. And we do some recognition, and I really wanted to be there. But I was happy to say, however, I will be in an all-day practitioner retreat. It's just with another group of practitioners who are also my practitioner family. And so I'll be thinking about y'all. I'll say a prayer for y'all. But I get to be in Oakland, California. And I'm also really happy and pleased and truly honored to be on this platform and to be able to give your founding minister, Reverend Dr. Andriette Earl, a tiny little break for today. And so I just invite you to join me in taking a breath and breathing only love to the good Reverend Doctor in all that she is doing today and every day. Yes? Yes. Yeah. So, how do we break from this prison that we create with our human experiences and step into the freedom that is our birthright? I know this year you all are at Heart and Soul working through the book, Guidance for a Spiritual Journey, Daily Devotions by our beloved Dr. Daniel Morgan, who I will be referring to as Dr. Dan. If you're not familiar with Dr. Dan, what a treat you have this year, going day by day and being guided on your own spiritual journey by the wisdom and the love of Dr. Dan. He is a legend in the growth, expansion, teaching, and practice of science of mind globally. And OMG, what a gift. And so I decided once I knew that I would be here on January 29th to open the book and see what did Dr. Dan have to say about January 29th. And the title of the devotion today is Hidden Springs. Hidden Springs. Now, I have used this book and Dr. Dan's devotions many times over the last 10 years. And when I opened the book and I read the devotion for Hidden Springs, I was like, when did they add this to the book? Like it was brand new. It felt brand new. And maybe that's what happens when we're really spiritually grounded, that even though I may have read it a year ago or a month ago or 10 years ago, that in this day, it is brand new. And I found myself reading it and feeling like, Hidden Springs, oh, what does that even mean? And I was like, do I really know what a spring is? I think I do. You know, I've heard about people going to the hot springs and sitting in the water. But I realized that there was a part of me that just thought of springs as maybe a little lake. Or springs as, you know, a pond. What is it that makes it a spring? And then I'm like, well, wait, there's spring water? And where do they get spring water from? And I'm a little embarrassed to say that, I'm sure when I was in fifth grade or something, I learned about what a spring is and how it's different from a lake or a stream or a creek or water, or ocean or a river. But I was in fifth grade a long, a long time ago. So I wanted you to think I was smart, right? So, springs, got some definitions for you. A spring is a flow of water coming out of the ground. It can be a mere trickle or a rapid flow, and it's often used for drinking by animals and humans. Yeah. But still, I was like, is a lake a spring? Is a spring a lake? You know how people say, is a treatment a prayer? Is a prayer a treatment? Are you just using the same different words for the same thing? But when you know the subtle difference, like where they're the same and where they're different, right? So a spring is a body of water, and in that way, it's like a lake or a river or ocean, but it's different because definition number 2. A spring forms in nature when water flows from an aquifer beneath the earth up to the surface, or, because I know you like what's an aquifer, define that. But let me just give you another definition. A spring can be defined as a place where groundwater flows naturally onto the land surface or into a body of water. So a spring is something that flows naturally, and it might come under and then serve and begin to help fill a lake or a river, but it is something separate. It comes up from the ground or out through the earth where there is some crack. It is sourced below the naturally occurring water level that would exist, and they're generally hidden, but they provide the sustenance of life. There needs to be a crack hold that thought. So I mentioned one of the first things I thought about was, I live in Texas. There are a lot of hot springs in Arkansas, which is nearby. I grew up in Missouri. There are a lot of hot springs in the Ozarks in Missouri. So it's no surprise that my brain would go into the files and go, springs, hot springs, you know what that is. No, not really, but I've heard it a lot. So hot springs, a hot spring, also called a thermal spring, is a spring with water at temperatures substantially higher than the air temperature of the surrounding region. What the U.S. Geological Survey from the U.S. government describes a hot spring as, well, a spring and a hot spring. A spring is a place where water moving underground finds an opening to the land surface, a crack, and emerges, sometimes just as a trickle, maybe only after a rain, and sometimes in a continuous flow. Spring water can also emerge from heated rock underground, giving rise to hot springs. So what did Dan Morgan have to say about this? Dan Morgan said, what is the spiritual source that is discharged from the depth of your soul, providing the trickle or flow of goodness in your life? Spirit is a conductor connected to hidden springs that convey the divine dynamic which makes personality glow without leakage or damage. Let me break that down, because it's a lot right there. Number one, spirit is a conductor. Thank you, Dr. Dan. Spirit's not the form. Spirit's not the body. Spirit's not what's happening. Spirit is expressed through the form. Okay, spirit is conducting the flow of what happens and what we do with what happens. So, have you ever said or heard, I am guided, guarded, and directed by spirit? Yeah, spirit is the conductor. Next thing Dr. Dan says, spirit is the divine dynamic which makes personality glow. So spirit is individualized in every one of us. Spirit is that which we are at the divine level, at the divine source. Spirit is that. It is that dynamic, it is that experience of each one of us having the divine within, but glowing in our own unique way. Third thing, Dr. Dan says, which makes our personality glow without leakage or damage. Without leaks or damage. Okay, spirit is flowing and without leaks or damage. So when we have those experiences where we're like, oh, why did that happen? Oh, and it feels like, wait, I'm damaged. Or wait, there's some leakage happening out here. Spirit ain't gone nowhere. Spirit is not the leak. Spirit is not any of the damage, right? Spirit is the goodness. Spirit is the godness from which only wholeness and perfection can flow. Only wholeness and perfection. So I don't know how you're going to label if you're experiencing something that feels like a leak or damage, but it's not spirit. It is not spirit. Spirit is, what's the title for today? Spirit is the hidden spring that is just waiting for you to recognize that crack so that you can be like, I need the conductor here. I need the conductor. And I am willing to accept some direction. I am willing to accept that I may not be able to center and ground myself on my own, but that is my birthright. That is who I really am, and all I need to do is take a breath and remember that this crack is opening me up for something else. And so if I am open to that, there is a solution to whatever is going on. It is this guidance. It is this hidden spring of pure water that I'm going to just tap into. And it may just be trickling right now, but I'm going to do my spiritual practices. I'm going to walk my talk. I'm going to ask myself, do I really believe what I say I believe? And if I do, then that trickle is going to turn into a flow that cannot be stopped. As me, in me, through me. Now, in today's devotion, Dr. Dan also quotes Ernest Holmes. How convenient. It saved me from having to spend 90 minutes looking for the perfect Ernest Holmes quote. Because, ultimately it really is all about me, my time, my ease, and grace. So what Dr. Dan quoted from Ernest Holmes is this. It's a little long, so I invite you to simply take a breath and take it in. Ernest Holmes wrote this. Subtle essence of spirit within me, flowing through me, elixir of life in my veins, purifying me with thy marvelous life. I let thy spirit cleanse me from all false thought and idea. I let thy life flow through me in a complete and perfect whole. I feel the presence of spirit within me. Ernest Holmes. So don't be confused. When you're having a not so good, very bad, awful day, month, or year, be intentional about noticing where the cracks are and saying internally and verbally, that crack is an opening to a hidden spring, and I am going to experience the flow of the purity of that which has created me and is always with me right here and right now. If we can each do that individually for ourselves, it makes it easier to be in service to our neighbor, family member, co-worker, stranger in the grocery store. Because when we can do it with and for ourselves, we can see it in others and provide support in a wholly different way. Because we remember we're not doing it, we are inviting in the conductor and giving the conductor access to guide and direct the lives of others through our words and through our actions. And when we get accustomed to doing that, then we can take it to the next level. So I mentioned that springs come from a crack in some kind of rock or, the ground, the earth, whatever. The U.S. Geological Survey says springs may be formed in any sort of rock. Any sort of rock. And so that made me think, oh yeah, a spring breaks through rock. Something considered hard, firm, solid, maybe even immovable. I mean, you may have seen stories or read articles about, the spring on the side of the mountain, right? So it can break through something that's solid. And it then provides me a reminder that life shall not be denied. Life shall not be denied. All the hidden spring needs is a tiny opening, and it is ready to live. It is ready to give. It is ready to nourish. So while up until this point, I've been talking about how we use it individually and how we make it work, and do we really believe it, and are we willing to practice it? But there's one more thing that I want you to consider. Today's news is seemingly a solid and immovable rock, maybe even a mountain. The rock or the mountain that seems to be so much a part of the foundation of how we live today, not just in Oakland, not just in California, throughout this nation and around the globe. The news just feels like an impenetrable, immovable mountain that can't change. I mean, the news of our lives today includes hundreds of mass shootings, and we are still in the first month of the year. How can that be? The news that is part of our life and lives today includes the murder of a 29-year-old black man by 5 police officers, continuing a chain, a pattern of violence that does not seem to be appropriate. The news that we have as a part of our background in our lives today includes George Santos, a person who can run for public office on a completely fabricated biography or history, and we vote for him. Or the news that we live in today includes that people who do serve in public office, that they are physically at risk, and their family members, their homes can be invaded and their family members can be attacked. This is the news that I don't know about you, but I know for me sometimes it feels like I don't think I can do anything about it. It is just bigger than me. The culture we live in needs a break, needs a spring to break through the little tiny crack of the prayer or the treatment that each one of us does. It needs that crack to be able to come through. The news and the culture we live in today needs a hidden spring to be hidden no more. Naturally occurring springs, hot springs. Let's talk about spiritual springs. Spiritual springs. Dr. Dan wrote, the hazardous treasure of choice that we have is an absolute, outright gift. Our character is the sum total of the consistent decisions we make for ourselves. If we maintain our freedom of spirit amidst external forces and misfortunes by resorting to hidden springs, we may be that same choice. We may, by that same choice, admit God into our individual will. And I'm here to remind you that it is our individual will that adds up together to create the collective will. It is not enough to just have your individual will and keep it at home. It is not enough to think, oh, I'm good. My life is fine. My treatments work. I got enough money to get by. I might have enough money to share, to spare. That's not enough. Because what we teach is that everything that I want for me, I better want for every one of you. I better want for everyone in the world. And my prayer, my actions, my words, my thoughts are part of making that happen. So do not think that just because you attend the cracks in your body and in your mind by opening up to the hidden spring and welcoming it in, that is enough. Because if you are part of Heart and Soul, if you are part of Science of Mind principles coming true in the world, if you are a human being who cares about other people, regardless of spiritual background and faith commitment, then you too must bring the hidden spring to life. Take a breath, because I don't feel the air has been sucked out of the room. Like, stop holding your breath. Breathe it in. And make a commitment to live it. So as I begin to close, here's what I want you to keep in mind. Only a couple of points. Ernest Holmes is probably best or most often quoted with this quote: "There is a power for good in the universe. It is available to all, and you can use it." Say that with me. There is a power for good in the universe, available to all, and you can use it. I can use it. We can use it. What is that power for good in the universe but a hidden spring? It is the hidden spring of love, joy, beauty, wholeness, harmony, unity, peace. And it will stay hidden unless we bring it forth wherever the cracks are in our own lives and in the world. There is a naturally occurring flow of goodness. It is seeking to express in you. It is seeking to express as you. It is seeking to express through you. Are you blocking the flow, or are you rocking it? There's only one life. That life is God. God's life is perfect, and that life is my life now. Beginning now, I no longer block the flow of spirit experiencing humanity in, as, and through me. I choose, beginning with this very next breath, to rock the flow of life and love, beauty, wholeness, harmony, unity, peace, and joy in my own life and in the way I interact and engage with others. For what I know is that from ancient wisdom, every day is a donation to eternity. Even an hour is a contribution to the future. And so right here and now, I become the flow of Spirit itself into the future of all life. I deny that any upset, any anger, any confusion, any chaos, any diagnosis, any divorce, any disharmony in my life or in the world has any power that is greater than the power of life itself, of love itself. So I look for the hidden spring and I make the crack bigger so it moves from a trickle to a gusher, flowing like the water released from a fire hydrant in my life and in the world. This is the truth right here and right now. And I'm grateful to know it. I'm grateful to claim it. I'm grateful to be it. And if these words resonate with you, even though I have used the words I and my, there is only one of us here. That is what empowers me to speak in this way. And so if it resonates with you, if you are ready to rock the flow and not block the flow, if you are ready to open the hidden spring and make it hidden no more, then I invite you to say yes. I invite you to say now. And I invite you to anchor it with me by saying Ashe, Aho, Amin, Amen. And so it is.